Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be talking about the spiciest of crypto industries today. It's called crypto gaming. I don't know if you've heard of it, but we're going to be covering it and all the juicy things because just like the title says, I think we're a little bit early still. And there's a reason to think so because there's a lot coming. So if you enjoy this kind of content, as always, you know what to do. Like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Let's talk about how our little sample portfolio is going because officially, as of today, our sample portfolio is up 100%. And let me tell you, in comparison to how Bitcoin has been trending, this portfolio's been doing pretty well. I'm not gonna lie, I've been pretty happy with the performance of it, and I've been pretty happy overall with my bags. That's all I'm going to say. So we started tracking this thing back in the 7th of this month, right? You could actually see the chart right there. I was doing this little thing. It's been around like 2.5 to 3 weeks at this point. And so here's how Bitcoin was doing in the meantime, right? Just so people can understand how crazy the crypto gaming industry is. So since that day, you can kind of see the performance since then. Our portfolio has run 102%, right? So 96% on this little graph. And at the same time, Bitcoin has trended up 6%. So, it's up 6%, up 96%. Do we see the little differentiation on how crazy this crypto bull market is right now? Like how beast we did this and how crazy we're outperforming the Bitcoin super cycle right now. Like, crypto gaming is on the top of this thing. And I think we're going to have a very big differentiation between what happened last cycle and this cycle, in the sense that I feel like last cycle, there weren't that many people that were hyper-focused on crypto gaming. There weren't that many people that were focused on the forefront of the industry, which is why crypto gaming, it did really well, but it didn't really have the longevity people were looking for. I think this cycle, it's going to be different. There's going to be games out. There's going to be a lot of things to be excited about. And talking about something from the last cycle that is exciting, apparently, okay, some people are going to be mad here when I talk about this. What's good, Zoro? How you guys doing? I hope you're having a wonderful Friday at this point. Yeah, it's Black Friday. Let's go. If you guys are buying some cool stuff, I'm buying my Christmas tree today. Don't tell my girlfriend. But here we go. Axie Classic is back. Yeah. And apparently a lot of people are playing it. So I figured I'd mention this because this was the last cycle winner. Clearly, Axie Infinity did great. It's actually how I ended up getting into the crypto space. And them kind of doing this, it reminds me a lot of how Fortnite ended up doing their little classic season. I think they got inspired by that. And hopefully it goes well for them. I heard Pixels had over 100,000 DAU, which I don't know how many of those are real humans. But nonetheless, that's an interesting one. 𝐶𝐸 is this cycle's winner. Hopefully, dude. Hopefully all these crypto tokens that are new just absolutely moonshot to the stratosphere. So let's talk about Alex Becker here because there is some news from Alex. We have to talk about him, right? We have to talk about him. He's the king of crypto gaming right now. Comes back, just destroys everyone. He's talked about the fact that Bitcoin pumps 2%, gaming coins pump 15 to 20%. He doesn't make the rules, but every time he talks about something, the chart go burr, right? It doesn't matter if he says don't buy it, you're stupid if you buy it. People will degen into these things. So there was news today, and this is alpha, by the way, where 𝐒𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐷, which is an extension on Twitter to go ahead and identify collections, they went ahead and onboarded Alex Becker, which is interesting as a strategic advisor. And so I think a lot of the Web3 gaming people are going to degen into this, right? Because of the fact that, yes, it is an extension, but look at this thing at the bottom. This is the final message that there's no authorized inspect contract in existence. We urge you to exercise caution, blah, 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 right? So that means there is a token coming for this thing. And I am 150 million% going to be on top of this token, right? So I'm looking forward to when this token comes out. I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming up pretty soon. Usually they don't make those really big announcements unless they're gearing up for a specific launch. I did hear about 𝐒𝐲 as well, going ahead and looking into Inspect as well. They actually talked about their partnership with Ronin, I believe. So correct me if I'm wrong, obviously. But Inspect has a lot of crypto gaming talent that is either looking at it or degenning at it. So that's why I'm looking into the Inspect token for whenever that ends up coming out. I don't have details on the valuations, etc. But that's, of course, like your do your own research kind of angle there that I'm still looking at. So next thing I want to talk about, Nakamoto Games. So Nakamoto Games started their Naka wallet. Simple as that. Not a complicated news thing. But when Axie Infinity released their Ronin wallet. Their TVL skyrocketed. So the amount of people that went ahead and put assets into Ronin, obviously that skyrocketed into the Ronin wallet. And so they released their Naka wallet. Now, do they have the same backing as Axie Infinity did with Mark Cuban, et cetera, back in the day? I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm not going to deny that they have been doing really well over the past year. And Nakamoto Games is something that I have not faded. I've talked about this thing when it was at like 30, 40 cents. It's at $1.36. So it's kind of ranging right now. I think this is the problem with a lot of people that they have in these cycles where they will get into these tokens and they'll do extremely well. But then like after they do really well, people kind of ignore them for a little bit. It doesn't have a lot of price movement for a while, and then it keeps going up. But in that meantime, like there's a bunch of tokens that do really well. So you want to have that core position that constantly holds tokens like Naka and Gala and all these boring tokens that are from the past cycle but might be trending at some point. And then like for me, it's like then I have that little bit 10 to 20% where it's like full speculation, God mode. Let's go find a 10x play. Let's go, 2x our portfolios in record time. Let's go do that stuff. So I think Nakamoto is going to be kind of just vibing out for quite some time. I don't see this thing running super hard in the next week or so, but I do think at some point the trend's going to come back to Naka, especially when the GambleFi sector ends up getting a lot of coverage, because Roll Bitcoin has been something that has been tearing it up in this cycle, and it is on a correction as well. I still think this thing is undervalued, to be completely honest, because of how much revenue Rollbit has been putting into their platform. I mean, they're making ridiculous money right now. It's disgusting. So we'll see where this coin goes. Obviously, it's up a ton, so people, of course, have taken profit, et cetera, et cetera. But this is something in my DCA portfolio, and something that I think Nakamoto has a very similar narrative to, where they have a lot of these like mini clip-esque games, right? But it's mostly GambleFi, right? It's wagers, GambleFi, that kind of stuff is what they're focusing on. So let's talk about global crypto news. What's good, NFT gaming Filipino? Do you play Modern Warfare 3? No, I don't have time for that stuff anymore. I literally spend like all day doing this, and then like I've been going to the gym lately, which is good. I was gaining way too much weight, so I've lost like 10 pounds. We'll see how that ends up going by the end of this year. Hopefully I lose like 3-5 pounds this month. That'd be great. So, a minister will decide if Kwon will be extradited to the US or South Korea. The Kwon extradition has been approved by the Montenegro court, which is very interesting. Okay. And this was today. The final decision on the extradition will be made by the justice minister after Kwon serves a 4-month prison sentence in Montenegro for document forgery, it said. So, if they go to the US, it's gonna get real spicy. If he stays there, then I don't know what happens. Maybe he'll get out scot-free. We don't know. But I still remember how much of a grasp Terra Luna had on the entire crypto industry during that time, and how absolutely crazy parabolic everything was going. So I'm right now looking at the possibility of some of those, dApps that held a ton of liquidity in our space coming back. If Kwon comes back, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, if I'm completely honest. But these are the fallen comrades of the last cycle. So that's why it's important that, while it's awesome to be excited about, cryptocurrencies that have been there for the long run, sometimes it doesn't work out. And a lot of the time, it's going to be those cryptocurrencies that come out this cycle that will severely outperform the ones from the last cycle, mainly because the ones from the last cycle already have pretty big valuations if they've survived, obviously, right? So the likelihood of them going ahead and having the same run is lesser compared to something that just launched and is still in price discovery mode. People are still trying to see what kind of value it has. And talking about runs, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Martinez. Bitcoin is at 37,784. It's having a pretty good run. 1% up on the day. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Jim Cramer flipped, said he's bullish on Bitcoin again. All it took was a good $15,000 pump on Bitcoin, and he was all of a sudden bullish on it again. So it's all right. The volume on Bitcoin and the overall crypto space is looking very healthy for the crypto gaming industry. It's good to keep tabs on this thing. I said that I don't see us going back under 30,000. I could be wrong, but I think the likelihood of us continuing to run is much higher than us not running. So I'm not betting against the trend right now. For those asking me if you should be taking profit on all of your crypto gaming plays, if you are worried about a potential correction, if you personally are worried, you should probably be taking some sort of profit, right? If you are someone that believes in the crypto space and conviction and thinks that we're going to continue to run, there's nothing wrong with doing moonbags on some positions and just going ahead and holding stable coins, and et cetera, et cetera. Like I hold stable coins, for example. If crypto went to new all-time highs, I would be extremely happy. If crypto went under 30K, I would also be prepared for that. So you've always got to be prepared for both situations. This cycle, I want to do things right. Last cycle, I literally just put my entire portfolio into crypto, and it did incredibly well, but the second the market turned, it started doing way less than it potentially could have been doing if I was holding 50% stable coins and 50% crypto. So my portfolio coming into this right now, if you're asking me like my distribution, I'm doing something around 30, 30, 30. Obviously, it's like 33, 33, 33, like 33%, etc. A third, right? So a third is on very safe assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. A third of it is in hard crypto gaming plays, right? Crypto gaming plays that I have a ton of conviction in, like Gala, Myriad, etc., nodes. You know, I've bought over, in this bear market, I've bought over $30,000 to $50,000 worth of nodes. So, yeah, to say the least, I'm positioned in terms of nodes for this upcoming bull cycle and everything else in between, right? And a third of my portfolio is into some of the more degen things that, you know, might not make it, but if they don't make it, that's also okay. Don't worry about it. Some people will be like, oh, but you should only put 10% of your portfolio there. It's what I'm comfortable with. I'm 100% okay with losing that third. I have taken plenty of profit from the last cycle. I'm cool with whatever ends up happening. What's good, crypto cash flow? What's my game for 2024? Okay. All right, Zoro. Let's just pray the Last Expedition comes out in 2024. I would love to play Last Expedition. Last Expedition is my favorite game on Gala, by far. I love this game. I played it, and I swear to you, I might be addicted. I swear to you. So if they actually end up finishing this thing out and releasing maybe like a beta product or something, I will more than be playing this thing. There's also games like Dead Drop and Shrapnel and Illuvium and Wildcard. So many games. It's hard to pick one. And I don't even know if I'm going to have the time to be able to play those games. But I am looking at all those different games for this bull cycle, and we'll see how that ends up going, right? And talking about Gala, the mercenary tomes ended up going live today. I talked about this yesterday, where they were having a discount presale on the Eternal Paradox mercenary tomes. 400 of them have sold as of talking. This is, by the way, completely on track with how the last sale performed. I remember that the last sale took somewhere around a week or two to go ahead and end up selling out, but when they ended up selling out, they did pretty damn well. I'm too late. See you in 4 years. Yeah, see you later. I don't know if you're getting 4 years, Eddie. That's the problem. I really don't think you're getting 4 years. So I think this cycle is going to be the last cycle where people are going to be able to get the gains that they want to get. I could be wrong, but I do think institutions are going to ruin it for us, to say the least. So, okay. What I'm playing on this thing, I haven't bought these little tomes yet. What I am going to be doing is I am going to be waiting until 2/3 of them have sold out. So until like 1,000 of them are left. Until I know for sure that these are going to sell out. If they are going to sell out, that there is going to be hype leading into this launch, and then this play makes a lot of sense. If it does not sell out, then, you know, you're probably going to be in a bit of an iffy situation, a very iffy situation. You're kidding? Good. No, you'd be surprised, though. Some people are like, playable ran up. How much is this? Give me 1 second. Playable ran up 1,370% over the past month. There is no hope for me to ever get profits on anything again. I'm like, no, that's not it at all. Stop saying that. There's so much time left. We haven't even really started the bull market. Sure, Bitcoin is pumped like what? Like over the past month, it's pumped 11%. 11%. And everybody's telling me this is the top of the cycle. It's pumped 11%. That's nothing. That is nothing. It's 9% now. Look at that. 9%, 11%. Same thing. Like it hasn't pumped anything. We're barely starting. Oh God, this is going to be a face ripper. It's going to be a face ripper. You know, there is the thesis that some people are saying. Look at that all percentage. there's the thesis that people are saying where, maybe there's the possibility that there are diminishing returns on each cycle. And it's true. So far, historically, there have been diminishing returns, which means that every single cycle, Bitcoin pumps less percentage-wise. Last cycle, we went from around 20,000 to 68-ish thousand on the all-time high for Bitcoin. That was around a 3.5x return. The one before that had a 7.5x return. So diminishing returns in terms of that. People are saying that if we follow historical bias, that we should only pump around 50% from our all-time highs, which would be somewhere around $90,000 to $100,000 Bitcoin. Do I think that's going to happen? I think it's ridiculous. I think this might be the first cycle that breaks diminishing returns and the whole thesis behind that. I'm pretty sure we hit. Maybe I'm too bullish on this thing, but if we're doing Gala memes, 240K, but maybe somewhere around 150 to 200,000 is what I'm thinking is going to happen once ETF listings come, once there are trillions of dollars worth of available capital to enter our industry. The all-time high last time for crypto was somewhere around $3 trillion. If you look at it over here, $2.8 trillion. $2.8 trillion. Yes, it's a good amount of capital, let's be honest, but people are getting rich. There's a lot of money out there. I don't think $2.8 trillion is a lot in the grand scheme of things if this thing is supposed to become something that ends up dominating the crypto markets. I could see somewhere around a $5 to $10 trillion cryptocurrency market cap at all-time highs. That wouldn't be crazy to me. And that's at least a 2 to 4 to 5x from the all-time high prices on Bitcoin, which would be probably even crazier expectations that I'm even talking about right now. But those are things that I'm looking at right now in terms of possible cycles. So hype for this next run. We're going to have, we are going to have a lot of things. We're going to have a lot of things. Last Expedition still has a long run for development. Shut up, Zoro. Hopefully it comes out faster, okay? I really want to play that game, honestly. What exchange can we get bull on? Okay, so if you're learning about cryptocurrency and you're wondering how to find the best centralized exchanges to buy whatever cryptocurrency it is, I will give you an example on Playable. So Playable, right now, if you go on CoinMarketCap, I'll go ahead and look it up for you, right? You go on CoinMarketCap, and then you look up the ticker symbol, so 3ULL, you'll find this, right? You'll find the ticker symbol, you'll find the chart, etc., etc. If you click on this tab, it says Markets. You click on the tab, it will bring you down to every place you can trade Playable. You'll see some things though, where it says, confidence, not applicable, or a very low volume percentage. You want to look for things that have a high volume percentage and also have high confidence with a pretty decent liquidity score. And volume, right? Volume could be washed, so it's a little bit sus sometimes, but if you're looking for the best places to trade Playable right now, they're going to be these two places right here, Trader Joe and MEXC. Obviously, MEXC is the centralized exchange that you can use for it, and then Trader Joe is the decentralized exchange that you can go ahead and buy. I got mine off of MEXC, so, there are no problems there. There could be problems potentially, right, where you are putting in market orders and then those are getting filled at a lower price than you're actually wanting to get it at. So I would say, save yourself the trouble, do a limit order on whatever price you want to buy this coin at, and then it should fill, right? Even if, for example, right now at the 7.5s, you could probably put in a limit order at the 7.2s and that would fill, and maybe you'll get a better price. Or maybe you don't want to miss this. Maybe it'll pump to the 8s. Personally, I don't care. I own Playable nodes. So no matter where this thing ends up going, I'm going to be more than happy with whatever ends up happening. But that's how you do it. Don't take me wrong. I do want to play these games, but gaming, I know it takes a long time. I'm coping. I'm coping. That's all I'm doing here. But maybe Gala pumps and maybe Gala gets more employees working on their games. There's also that. You never know. If Gala doubles the amount of people working on Last Expedition, that game will come out a lot faster than it's coming out right now. So you never know. You never know in these cycles. And talking about game releases and Playable, I'll kind of lead this on. So on the holiday season, they are going to be releasing a brand new game. It's called Starvin' Martian. This is happening December 5th, 2023, which I think is also the day that Eternal Paradox is going to be coming out for Gala Games. So that's going to be a pretty interesting day for crypto overall. They're going to be launching on the Epic Game Store. I don't know how much marketing is happening here, but for the people that are looking at my channel for Playable, you should probably know that this game is going to be coming out pretty soon. Let's actually go ahead and see if we can show you all the actual game over here. So Starvin' Martian, this ain't rocket science. It is a farming style game, which some people will say is really boring, but I actually agree. I think games like that are boring, okay? But here's the thing. Pixels Online on the Rona Network has apparently over 100,000 users, and they are a farming style game. So there is definitely a market for this kind of stuff. And there is a big one too. Farmville had a lot of people, hundreds of millions of daily active users at some point at their all-time high. So there is a market for this kind of stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing what ends up happening here in terms of the cycle. Mirandus will be huge for Gala. Yeah, I think a lot of people are betting for Mirandus in terms of Gala games. And let's continue. CoinGecko recently putting their top 30 trending coins on CoinGecko. This is kind of important because this is what people are looking at. Obviously, this stuff can be manipulated, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Let's see what crypto gaming plays are on here today. So we've got WAGMI Games. We've got, I love how Caspa's there. Wonderful. We've got Beam. We've got Blurg. You could debate NFTs, right? We've got Decimated, which is interesting. A Dio is a token I haven't looked at too much. Solana, you could debate. It's that. Render, you could maybe debate. Apparently, it's on the gaming sector. I don't know why. We've got Avalanche, which I think the Avalanche narrative is going to be a very big deal. And Vulcan Forge. Let me not forget. Vulcan Forge right there on that juicy market cap indicator. And talking about Blur, Blur just got listed on Binance. You can tell, right? It's up 27%. So it's up a lot right now. It is tearing it up, to say the least. Maybe this was insider trading, and that's why this thing ended up pumping. We talked about this the other day. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not holding any Blur because I didn't farm the airdrop. Totally missed this one. But what it does tell us is that Blur is a leading marketplace in the crypto industry. And I don't know if you knew this, but crypto gaming, a lot of crypto gaming is on NFTs. A ton of the market cap is on NFTs. So the NFTs have more liquidity because there's a lot more hype on the NFT space in general. I think NFTs are having a massive comeback in a way that people were not expecting. Some of these NFT collections that people thought were dead are absolutely ripping it right now during this cycle. And I think that this Blur Binance listing is only solidifying the fact that there's a lot of people right now looking into the NFT space. And so what this is telling me is I should probably be looking at grabbing more NFTs, right? Is the TLDR of everything, because I'm pretty sure that, you know, as this thing gets listed, which already got listed on Binance, it's going to have that correction. It has a ton of volume, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have a bit of a run up in NFTs during this weekend. And talking about new tokens, let's talk about 𝐒𝐻, okay? People asked me yesterday about 𝐒𝐻. I did a little bit more research on it. They did a 7 billion 𝐒𝐻 token burn. It's a lot of burns. A heck of a lot of burns. That thing is up 27% as well. You know, this is something that is listed on KuCoin. It's listed on Uniswap, Bitfinex, etc. You know, Gate.io, Bybit. Was I a little bit late to the party? Yes, I was a little bit late to the party. It's up 543%. Now, is this a bad buy at a $46 million market cap? I wouldn't say it's a bad buy at all. I would want to see a correction though. You know, at some point this thing needs to correct. 46s. 48 to 45. Yeah, this isn't really a correction. Once this gets like a real correction, like a 30 to 50%, then I'm looking into grabbing this for sure. I think this is going to be a good long-term play for me. I totally missed the boat though. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to buy things at like 500% pumps though. I'm going to wait for corrections every single time. For example, like with Playable, this thing pumped like crazy. It went up all the way to the 9s. And then at this point, I think it's had a 10 to 20% correction, which is pretty solid. I mean, if you're looking for ranges to get into plays, you're probably going to want to wait for at least a 20 to 30 to 50%. And at the lows, it did correct over 30%. So you've always got to wait for those corrections to get better DCA ranges to get into these plays. But I am looking at 𝐒𝐻. Yes, I'm looking at 𝐒𝐻 for sure. And the next thing I'm looking at is my Myria nodes. I'm looking at my Myria nodes. Let me actually go ahead and pull up a spreadsheet while I'm here, because I do have a spreadsheet on some of my investments on Myria specifically and how much people are actually accumulating here. Okay. So let's see. I did this a bit ago. This was like half a month ago at this point. I'll go ahead and show this for you all. This was the amount I was making off my Myria nodes. So I was making $3.89 my God, $3.89 per day off of my Myria nodes, per Myria node. This was at the 7th of this month. And then I calculated on the 9th, and I was making $8.95 per day, which is very interesting stuff. Now, I do have to calculate how much I actually make per node right now to be able to tell y'all how much the ROI is on these things. But I think we're starting to get to the point where some of these plays are making sense. What was the cost of the Miria node? I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you. I'm kidding. It was $4,500 per Miria node. So I'll get there, okay? I'll get there, I promise. So here we go. My nodes online. Just so you guys can see, I am not BSing you. Here is... Can I show this? I think I can show this. Okay. I think I can show this. Wonk. I can show this much. But yeah, we've got 4 of them, okay? So we got 4 nodes right there. In terms of rewards, we got 6,993 in... You got to divide that in 4, so 6,000. I'm calculating the amount right now. Divided by 4. So this is how many Miria tokens you make per day, right? So 1,748. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to multiply it by this price. And there you go. So $12.50 per day off of Miria node. And we're getting to that point where the ROIs are actually not looking that bad for these things. So if we calculate the current price, which is $45.50, and then we divide it by 12.59, which is the cost per day, it takes around a year to get ROI on this thing. Look at that. That's actually not that bad. And you'll be like, okay, but a year's still quite a long time. But the thing is, you're not factoring in, what if Miria does a 2x? It's already up 258%. What if it does a 2x from here? Then all of a sudden, that 361 days is half a year. What if it does a 2x from there? 90 days. Like, these will get to that point. So I'm pretty sure we're going to start to get to that point where nodes are going to be like absurd bets for these ecosystems. And, you know, just to get to that point, that's a $150 million market cap. That's not a crazy amount for Miria. For something that has as many games as Miria, like, it's not an absurd price prediction. So I'm looking forward to that. And I mean, look at this thing. It's pumping again. Keep going. Keep going. Keep doing your thing. Dreams Crest, I don't know what that is, Manny. I have no idea. But yeah, I love these node plays because what ended up happening with Playable is we ended up grabbing those nodes at $2,200. $2,200. And then how much are people making right now? They're making somewhere around 1,300 tokens of this thing, which let's go ahead and calculate that really quick. So 1,300, and then we divide it. Okay, I'm being dumb. 1,300 multiplied by this, $9.86. So pretty much $10 per day. That is 220 days, right? 220 days. If it 2x's, that's like nothing. It's like nothing. So I think the node ecosystem play is going to become a thing again. I think a lot of these tokens that people think are dead right now are going to keep selling nodes, and that is going to continue to give funding for these projects. And the more funding for these projects, the more announcements they can spend on, and the more announcements they can spend on, the more hype they can bring, and the more hype they can bring, the more capital they can bring in, and the more capital they can bring. You know what I'm talking about, right? The more capital you bring in, the more nodes. Okay, it's a cycle. It's a cycle. That little Ponzi cycle. It reminds me of Gala right now, especially being so early in the market cycle. It's exactly what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Founders nodes. I'm not only looking at Playable and Miria. I promise you there are plenty of node ecosystems that I'm doing a lot of due diligence on that I don't want to talk about just yet because they're so small that do have node ecosystems, but they're just not there yet. They haven't got into the announcements. They haven't really gone public with everything that they're doing. So there's no real reason to talk about it until we hit those market catalysts. And it's safe enough for me to at least talk about it on this channel. But I am looking to size in somewhere around at least $100,000 by the end of this bull cycle in just nodes. Right now, we have around $30,000 to $50,000 in nodes total across all chains. So I want to at least grab double the nodes I have right now. I think that's a very conservative bet. I wouldn't even be surprised if I did more than that. I probably will. But that's a very conservative bet on nodes. I do think that tokens short-term are significantly better than nodes every single time. If, you know, this thing pumps up 3x, you probably would have wanted to hold the tokens rather than the nodes. But if you hold the token, it multiplies in value, and then you sell it off to some extent and buy nodes, it's perfect. That's your moon bag right there. And you don't have to worry about anything. So let's talk about more money raising, because money raising is always a good thing to see. A lot of projects were struggling to raise money over in the bear market. Now, Shardbound raises $5 million, which $5 million isn't that much in the grand scheme of things, but for Shardbound, I'm sure that's a heck of a lot of money. So good stuff for them. This is on the Immutable ecosystem, which Immutable is something that I think is going to get a lot of attention leading into this bull market. I think they may be the top crypto gaming ecosystem for the next cycle. They very well could be, but it also could just be an ecosystem that we don't know about yet, that hasn't even launched, that ends up taking the cake. Right now, they're at $1.76 billion, which might make them one of the biggest in the entire crypto gaming space. Let me see. So in terms of market, yeah, they are literally the biggest by far. Yeah, it's not even close. That's crazy. I remember when Axie Infinity was at like $12 billion. that was ridiculous. Ridiculous. Mutamax has been nuts though. Like we didn't fade it though. Like I own this in my portfolio. We covered this. It's right here. IMX. Yeah, right there. It's up 67% since we covered it. So it's been a good run. It's been a very good run. To be fair though, to IMX, everything has been running like crazy. Gala's the only thing that's been sleeping. Can someone tell Gala to wake up? Gala's going Sleepy Joe on us, dude. Like, do something, dude. Please. It's doing nothing right now. It's 19%. Come on. Everything else is up so much more. Even Ronin is up 50%. How dare they? How dare they? SMH. Sleeping. That's what they're doing right now. And so another thing I wanted to go ahead and show before we get into the Ask Me Anything section, which we're about to get into. So start leaving your token picks and everything you want me to look into. Please don't leave meme coins. I'm not going to look at your meme coin. I wanted to go ahead and show this because a lot of games have started to enter Epic Games. I mean, look at this. Gods Unchained. You've got Grid over here from Gala. We've got Illuvium. We've got Metalcore. I don't know what Helix is. We got My Pet Hooligan, Phantom Galaxies, Providence. We've got, I don't know what this is. And we got STG Football, Star Atlas. Come on. So many games are entering the Epic Games Store. It's a full-on frenzy out here in the crypto gaming space. Too many people completely raiding right now over in crypto gaming. But yeah, so this is going to be it. Please leave questions. Leave things for me to go ahead and look at because I'm going to be looking at everything. I have been looking a lot right now in terms of due diligence into teams and runway. For me, runway is the single biggest pain point that a lot of these crypto games had last cycle, where they would be spending $10 million per month trying to build out their game, and they would go bankrupt in 4 months. Like, it was that stupid. Like, they had no business sense on how to actually operate a company. I'm looking for companies that will survive this crypto gaming bull market. I know how crazy that sounds because they're pumping and everything, but some of these tokens, they're doing great. They do bad for 2 seconds. They're way over leveraged and they go bankrupt. It's as simple as that. Synverse. All right, let's look at Synverse. So Syn actually has pumped a lot. I've actually looked at Synverse before. I have talked to the team. I talked to them literally last year. Like it's been quite some time since I talked to Synverse. And they've been doing their thing. They kind of did a little bit of nothing. They recently had a pretty killer pump. You know, they're up 127% on the year. On the past month, they're up 446%, which is really good volume. Very good volume. When I'm doing my due diligence on these tokens, I'll kind of like run you through it. I'll do something like very simple. Go through the white paper. Look at what they're doing over here in terms of documents. Why does this want to know my... Why does it want to know my location? Yo, I am not giving you that. I'm not downloading that document. They have to fix this. This is bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Synverse. I want to look at it, but I ain't doing that. Talk to the Synverse team. I'll talk to them after the stream. That's crazy. Allbridge. Paul Bear talked about this yesterday. Ran up 130%. All right, let's go ahead and look into this. I have never looked into Allbridge. Is this crypto gaming at all? Or is this like some weird AI coin or something? It's on Orca, so probably is. Expanding ecosystems of cross-chain solutions, swap stablecoins, bridge, cookies. Okay, cookies are fine. That's cool. They've got a pretty good TVL, a ton of transfers. Yeah, but this is more of like a DeFi choice. I'm looking into crypto gaming right now. We're covering crypto gaming. What about Hello? Hello's not building a game, right? Hello's also one of those like reality TV show things. Are they? No way they're building out something. Yeah, they're game-changing entertainment. Yeah, they're doing entertainment. They did Killer Whales. I remember this. Yeah. I actually got into a similar token. Oh, they have an arcade. Oh, that's cool. Dash of the Dead. Doge Dash. Did Doge Dash go bankrupt and then they just bought it out? That's kind of cool. That's interesting. All right. So they got a little arcade. I don't know anything about this arcade. I've got to look into this one more. But I thought they were just entertainment, which makes sense, I guess. Entertainment, Doge Dash. Doge Dash was a different project, all of it on its own, though. So they probably sold out the project and merged it into Halo Labs, which is interesting because I remember covering Doge Dash back in the day. But anyway, the equivalent play here for me was Wait, which was Hourglass. I don't know what it's doing now. I ended up selling it off when it was around here at the 6 cent mark. It was way lower here, though. Way, 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 way lower at some point when it got listed. It's at 15 cents, though, which is pretty good. It has had kind of a correction, and this Hello Labs thing is absolutely parabolic and probably won, so I probably faded it. But it'd be like that. It'd be like that. Can you talk to the team at Army of Fortune? Yeah, if they want to reach out to me. You would like a key for Aurori? I don't have Aurori keys right now. Do you have a video explaining nodes? I don't. I don't know why I don't have that. I can explain it to you right now, though, if you would like to understand kind of how it works. So let's do an example here. Let's do something conservative, right? So we've got Gala nodes, right? And so where can I find Gala nodes these days? They made it too hard to find these nodes. All right. Anyway, let's look at Playable, for example, I guess. So we go to the website on Playable. And then we would go to nodes. And here it is. So here's what playable nodes are for. Playable nodes are primarily for securing the chain as well as securing capital into fundraising for their ecosystem. It's like the ultimate community fundraising model ever. If you want to go ahead and get the people into this stuff, people do nodes. That's what the whole hype thing is around nodes. What nodes are essentially are licenses to go ahead and accumulate tokens. In terms of Playable right now, you don't need to run anything to get these, but most nodes require you to run something like a literal node, like a real full node. You can look up whatever that means. I've run nodes on Cosmos SDK chains, complicated stuff, but you will have to run some kind of VPS or, actual rig. In terms of nodes in the crypto gaming ecosystem, I don't know a single node that is expensive enough to run where you will need a dedicated rig for it. So most people go through the VPS route of virtual private servers to be able to run their nodes and make money. I think, playable nodes are likely going to go to that stage very soon. I pay right now $25 per month for my nodes, full stack, don't have to worry about it. There's plenty of people that run them off VPS services like Vulture, a little bit complicated for people that are new to crypto, new to technology. But if you know how to do it, you could save a lot of money. You could run these nodes for like $3 to $5 per month. It's pretty absurd. Please keep talking about bull. Shut up. I'm only talking about it because of nodes. And so these have a daily coin emission, right? You get 1,288 of these per day. It costs $5,400. So you've got to do the math for yourself. Do you think that you will make money off of getting this amount of coins per day at this price long term? If so, this is a great deal. If not, no, don't do that. Are you planning on holding long term? I'm talking about a year into the future potentially, at least, right? Then this is a great deal. If you're doing very short-term plays, do not buy nodes. Terrible idea. Just buy the tokens. So that's kind of the TLDR rundown on what nodes are. They also have extra benefits and stuff like that, but that's pretty much what nodes are. I love nodes because I am super bullish on this industry leading into 2024, 2025. I'm comfortable holding this. I have short-term bags. I have my long-term positions, so I am completely fine with them. Thoughts on Veracity. So Veracity is a bit of a runner from the last cycle, a bit of a runner. It kind of did a bit of a run, okay, and then it kind of calmed down. I think this is something that it's not at its cycle yet. A lot of people were going after me the other day talking about cornucopias. I do think, looking a little bit into it more, the marketing is more toward MMORPGs, and that's cool. But the whole trend for MMORPGs in general just isn't there yet. And it doesn't mean the product's bad. I think the product's great. But I just don't think it's there yet. And I think Veracity is a lot of the same, where it has a pretty solid product. Veracity is a good project. It just doesn't right now have the people looking into it. And I think Veracity is something that should probably have more attention in the space, but it doesn't. And that's okay. I think these infrastructure plays, they'll have their day. They'll have their moment to shine. I think these are great for looking into for this bull cycle. And I 100%, I hold this thing, right? I just don't have a big bag in it, but it is something I'm looking actively at for DCAs, etc. The circulating supply is something you always got to look at, but I'm not worried about it. Gaming no systems are just a nice fancy advertising way to raise money for a project. Essentially, yeah. But if you think about it for a second, Zoro, you can think of like anything as that. Most things are just fundraisers for projects. Like buying NFTs for a game in a way is just fundraising for the project. So, you know, even having tokens most of the time is fundraising for projects because they have team tokens, right? So, I mean, it's just, they're all creative ways to fundraise for projects. It's just, how do I play this to get the most potential out of it? For example, if I'm going to hold Gala, am I going to paper hand it? Do I actually think I'm going to hold for a year? Most of the time, the answer is no. There's plenty of people that bought Bitcoin at 0.5 cent. None of them are probably holding, or maybe like one of them is holding, and they're trillionaires, right? But they probably aren't holding much because they paper handed it. It's like an anti-paper hand syndrome. I am notorious for having paper hands. I have the worst paper hands I have ever seen, but I don't care. I'm still out there. You know, I got some nodes, so I can paper hand all day. Generally speaking, yeah, of course, generally speaking. So I'm not worried about, you know, them fundraising through nodes and their runway is only this long and I'm super scared. If I can take advantage of an opportunity in a cycle, I will 150% get into it. I don't care. I don't care. All I care about is making the profits and I guess supporting the games along the way. Because if you do anything in the space, you're supporting them. You crush it. You gotta crush it. You gotta crush it, right? So that's pretty much the TLDR for today. I wanted to keep the stream short. I've got a couple things to do. That's kind of it. The cycle, I mean, nothing changed from yesterday, right? What I do want to say is I'm planning on doing a brand new series on this show, which is going to have to do with more like debates and people that have like contrarian views, so you can see both sides of the story. You know, I'm a crypto gaming maxi. Maybe we can get some dude on that hates crypto gaming, or maybe we get some dude on that hates nodes or everything I stand for, and then we just go back and forth for an hour. I think that would be awesome content that you guys would definitely like. You'd definitely like that. And so that's probably what we're gonna end up doing. Hope you enjoyed the stream. As always, you could run up the likes. That would be amazing because that gets more people looking at crypto gaming, because I want that thing. By the end of the month, we're going to be at the forefront of the industry. Let's get it. Let's go. What's good, hell? See you later. Stay classy, y'all. I'm still going to keep that slogan. I don't care what people say. Yeah, enjoy your day. Let's run it up.